Hello, hello, welcome to the show. Welcome to Astrology Magick. Welcome back. There isn't a ton going on this week, I'm not gonna lie to you. So we're gonna focus on the moon cycle. Beautiful, grateful for that. And we're also going to be focusing on some bigger picture stuff. We're coming off of eclipse season. We're headed into Scorpio season. Pluto's moving into Aquarius later in Scorpio season. So since we don't have a lot happening in our smaller transits and like our day-to-day stuff this week, even though we're going to be going over the moon cycle, I do want to focus on some bigger picture things just to give us some perspectives. Last couple episodes we focused on more like day-to-day, this is what's happening, kind of short term. Today we're going to be looking at pretty long-term stuff. So buckle up, welcome in. Some updates before we get started. Book of Spells 2, Poetry for the Warrior Witch comes out on Halloween this year. So if you're interested in pre-ordering that or ordering a copy of it, that will be linked down below here. If you want updates on when the podcast comes out or other writings that I create for people, then those are going to be linked below as well. Join the blog. Join the blog. We get shout outs there. The podcast goes out. And yeah, any transits or like lessons that I feel like are necessary to write about and send out, I do that. It's also where I receive financial support for the blog and for the podcast. So if you're interested in becoming a financial supporter, that opportunity and offering, thank you so much for joining that space, is on the blog. Beautiful, cool. That, any other updates too, they're going to be down there. Any other offerings also, yes. The two really big things that we have happening this week, Scorpio season starts, and then we also have the third quarter moon in Leo, which is going to be on the 24th after Scorpio season starts, which means we're going to have a third quarter moon ruled by Scorpio, and we had a new moon indirectly ruled by Scorpio too, which was the eclipse in Libra when Venus was in Scorpio. So lots of Scorpio energy on the undercurrents, or like in the indirectness, which is not surprising. Scorpio kind of likes to be hidden and in the shadows. But also let's talk about, how does that work? How does that help us? We'll be talking about that a little bit later on. I am a Scorpio stellium. I love Scorpio energy. It's one of my favorite things ever. Pluto and Saturn, if you stay up on my content on like this page, I suppose too, and other pages, like I talk about Pluto, Scorpio, Capricorn, Saturn, quite a bit, okay? Quite a bit, because they are the transits and placements that if you pay attention to them, they can help you out a lot. And if you don't, they might hurt a little bit. So I just would rather pay attention to them than to not pay attention to them, in my personal opinion. But let's start with the 21st. So the 21st, so the moon cycle, we're going to focus on the moon cycle now. 21st to the 23rd, we have a moon in Cancer with Mars. Mars in Cancer has been quite interesting. The way that it's been working for me, as I've been noticing it, is seeing that we're prioritizing emotions, and if we don't prioritize our emotions, guarding those emotions, sharing those emotions, when do we need to nurture those emotions, things can become kind of volatile kind of quickly. And so we're asked to sort out enemies based on our emotions and how we're interacting with people emotionally at this current time. Is it really actually a nurturing environment for you to be in? Are your emotions really actually being taken care of? Are you able to keep up with your other priorities and everything else that's going on in your life with your emotions as regarded in prioritization before, during, and after those other priorities, those other responsibilities? So our emotions are kind of taking the forefront right now with Mars in Cancer. We're filtering through our priorities. Are they actually really important to us? Have we been pretending about them? Like, are we, for some reason, do we have an unhealthy emotional attachment in an area with a person, especially wherever Cancer is in your chart? Cancer is also going to rule over the 4th house, and it's the moon energy, so it rules over our moon cycles. So seeing how those cycles are helping us, how they're not helping us, that's another thing that has been prioritized as Mars has been in Cancer. Mars, we like to talk about Mars as the war, battle, strategy, victory planet, but Mars is also the guardianship and harvester of resources. So if you find yourself guarding something in your life, guarding your emotions, is probably a good reason for it. Right now, our emotions are seen as that resource, and or our emotions are what is guarding the resources that we do have. So if your emotions for any reason have been a little bit out of whack, or like you're like, why am I feeling like this? This is not me. This is not how I normally am. Take a look back at where you could be prioritizing your emotions more healthily, or like better, quote unquote better. That's a really broad term, but like, how can you reprioritize your life so that your emotions are more stable, or you have more room for them, or there's more healing for them, or whatever it is that you are prioritizing right now. Because right now with Mars and Cancer, if we let those emotions get out of whack at all, if we let those emotions get into spaces where maybe they are not meant to be, or there's people who are taking advantage of them, or organizations that don't really care about your emotions but you do, then there can be some enemy, battle, strategy, victory stuff that starts to appear. The only time that Mars, we don't like to go to war, surprising. We don't like to do it. So the only time that Mars really, that's not true. There's some people that like to fight, which it is what it is. But generally speaking, if we can guard the resources and not have to like barter to protect them, or defend them, or like strategize to protect them more, or like rearrange it, like that's it. That's a whole lot of extra work, and a whole lot of extra dollars, and it's a whole lot of extra. I don't want to do that all the time. Are you joking? No, I keep it off of me. Keep it away from me. Let me just have my safe little bubble, and that's it. You come to threaten me, I'll definitely be prepared. That's another thing that Mars asks us: be prepared. Preparation. You can't go into a battle if you don't have the tools. You can't go into a battle if you are a fool. I mean, you can, but you might not win. So preparation is a part of Mars as well. Let me stay in my little safe bubble, okay? Let me stay in that safe bubble. Let me stay prepared. Mars in Cancer. So with the moon being in Cancer, the moon rules Cancer. So that's going to be an at-home placement. And then we have Mars in Cancer. With that at-homeness, oh my goodness, there's probably going to be some clarity. This is right before the third quarter moon, so we're still in a lot of illumination with the moon. Probably going to be some clarity around, oh, this is why I feel this way. This is how I could do better for myself. This is why. Oh, and I'm feeling all these things. Let me reprioritize. Basically everything I was talking about with Mars in Cancer, okay? There's going to be a big illumination on it. And since we are headed more into the darkness, but we are before the third quarter moon and we're closer to that full moon, we're focusing right now on just a kind of like grounding, reorganizing after the full moon, letting ourselves rest maybe a little bit after that full moon as well, till we get to the third quarter moon. And the third quarter moon kind of lets us know what direction are we going in. So we haven't had a clear direction sense yet, and honestly, totally okay. Sometimes we don't always know where we're going, and that's just what it is. So this Mars in Cancer, moon in Cancer helps to show us where we are, because how can you know where you're going if you don't know where you are? Congrats. Beautiful. Yeah. So if you're figuring out where you are emotionally, if you're figuring out what environments you're in emotionally, where people are either helping or hindering those emotions, what's priority for you with your emotions also, and if you're looking at that fourth house aspect to it, your home. So like if you live with other people, or you not just live with other people, but possible that you like your neighbors or your home situation, like what does that look like at this time? And is that, how have your emotions been prioritized in those spaces? Have they been? It could also be as well, because we are gearing up for a Mars retrograde later in the year that eventually is going to move back into Cancer. We may be thinking back on situations where this Mars in Cancer, the home prioritization, the emotions being prioritized, where there were enemies, or where there was harm and we were not, or alarm, where we were trying to be disarmed by other people. Again, the war, battle, strategy, victory stuff, okay? So if you find yourself thinking back or feeling through different situations that have to do with that, right now, that makes sense. During that Mars retrograde, we are, like I said, moving that back into Cancer. So there's going to be some themes that come up about other times where maybe home or emotions were under attack or under distress, or maybe we weren't able to sit with those as priorities and we had to fight for those. We had to fight for a space for ourselves, or fight for our emotions and things of that nature. So right now with that moon, if you're focusing on, again, the 21st to the 23rd, moon is in Cancer. This could be a time too, that's true. This could be a time too where you start to feel a little bit more victorious. You might feel a little bit more victory. Have you been really moving how you need to? You've been taking care of your heart. You've been sitting with your healing. Have you been allowing your heart to be smart and activate your new start? Light a spark, keep going, light some more sparks, light a fire if you need to, you know, with the candles here in the background on the video. For sure. Light it up. Light up your victories. That's true. If you need to light a candle for you over these days, for sure do that. Like right now, fire and the emotions are tied together. So a lot of our emotions can feel a little bit more volatile. Like fire is very swift moving. It's very quick. Sometimes it's tricky. So if you're feeling also rage, you know, rage is not always my favorite emotion, but it's an emotion for a reason. That's true. So if you're allowing those different, like very fiery emotions to come through and teach you and reach you and bring their lessons, that's also true. We're also right now with that energy moving through prioritizing how we order our emotions. It could potentially, because prioritization, you know, there's like a list 1, 2, 3, and you kind of, with Mars, I've noticed sometimes that the order of those changes depending upon where you're going, what you want, people around you, like the priorities can change pretty quickly with Mars, the fire energy, right? So if you're feeling that sometimes there may be emotions that come up, you might not be able to sit with them right away, you might have to stay doing what you're doing, or any emotion really is going to change your priorities and it's going to change your trajectory, and your priorities that are non-emotional are going to bring up different emotions. So we're kind of navigating this back and forth right now of like, here's this thing in the physical world or like in my human life that I have to do right now, but my emotions are feeling like this and normally I don't feel like this, or my emotions are feeling different right now. It's just different. Like we're having these back and forth emotions come up. It's a lot. Mars in Cancer is a lot. It's a lot. To have a constant, consistent spark of different emotions coming up. Plus right now also, I'm fairly certain we have Chiron still retrograde. Let me double check on that. Yeah, we still have Chiron retrograde in Aries, and Mars rules Aries. So we also have this huge like turnaround, looking at our innocence and like healing our innocence with those emotional things. Lots of healing work right now. This is not necessarily a shadowed healing work. It might be shadow in the sense that other people are not able to see it or view it, but it's not shadow work in the sense that we're diving into like the deepest, darkest depths of ourselves. Normally this sort of healing with Mars in Cancer and the moon being in Cancer with Mars right now, that's just going to be more of like the surface level stuff. Things are coming to the surface. It's going to very naturally have emotions come to the light. You might have to sit with it a little bit more to understand it. Valid, okay? Sometimes it takes time. One thing about Mars is don't take too much time and don't spend too little with it. Knowing how much time to sit with Mars is a really good skill to have, because sometimes we do need to move on. We do need to go to the next priority, and sometimes we literally don't have the time to sit with something. Sometimes we have too much time and we need other priorities to come through. Maybe there isn't enough. That one is not as that one's like more rare to happen, but sometimes it happens. So that's the 21st through the 23rd. We also have the sun moves into Scorpio on the 22nd or the 23rd, depending upon your time zone. That will be different, but for people who, like American listeners, that's happening on the 22nd. People who are, what direction would that be? East of those time zones? Yep, east of those time zones. More than likely it's going to happen on the 23rd. So this Scorpio season, we're going to spend some time, now that we've talked about Mars in Cancer, the moon in Cancer, we're going to talk a little bit about Scorpio season. Scorpio season this year is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be, we have a different sort of Scorpio season showing up for us this year. Not only is the South Node no longer in Scorpio, which it wasn't last year either, but we were still feeling the effects of those eclipses in 2023. So we're out of those eclipse cycles and energies of Scorpio and Taurus now, so that's different. Also, new moon on Halloween, crazy. And our previous eclipse in Libra was ruled by Venus in Scorpio. Okay, so sneaky there. Mars with the third quarter, or with the moon in Cancer, right? Okay, so that's going to be Scorpio energy. The third quarter moon, we haven't gotten to these. I just want to bring them up to let you know that there's a lot of Scorpio energy going on currently, all right? So third quarter moon is going to be in Leo this cycle. That's on the 24th through the 26th of October. And the sun is what rules Leo. So we have a Scorpio influenced third quarter moon as well. Crazy. We also too have Pluto moving into Aquarius and out of Capricorn for the final time. ever. Whoa. So we have like, whoa, 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 whoa. That's how I feel about it right now. Whoa, 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 slow down. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Where are we gonna go? What are we gonna do? The new life's coming through. It's like Scorpio season a lot of the times brings a death and then rebirth, death and then rebirth, death and then rebirth, death and then rebirth. That's kind of the order of Pluto. Is like there has to be something that's let go of to make the room for a new thing to come through. With this being the final time of Pluto being in Capricorn, because Pluto doesn't move into Aquarius until the later couple, it's like the final couple of days of Scorpio season. It's November 19th, and Sagittarius season starts on the 22nd of November. So we literally have like 3 days in Scorpio. So most of Scorpio season is going to be ruled by this Pluto and Capricorn. And since this is the final, this is it. And in my notes, I wrote that it's like classic. What did I say? Yeah, Pluto changes to Aquarius in Scorpio season. Like, of course it does. That's classic. Of course, Pluto is going to transfer over into a new sign during Scorpio season itself, in the season where Pluto rules, you know, which is crazy to me. But one of the things I was thinking about, I want to take a moment to talk about the transfer over from Pluto and Aquarius to Pluto from Pluto and Capricorn to Pluto and Aquarius, because I think it's important that we talk about that. I'll probably be doing more writing and blogs on this eventually, but I just want to give like a breakdown, because I've been thinking about this today as I've been getting this podcast kind of space set up for us. And Pluto and Capricorn, when we have Pluto transfer over into a new sign, it is a new way that we acquire power. So Pluto and Capricorn, our power was coming from hierarchies. Our power was coming from, where are we in the hierarchy? At the job, are you the manager or are you the person underneath of that? Within the systems of like government, politics, and money, where are you in those hierarchies? What power does that afford you? And how does that work on your life and on your level? Are there rules that you're willing to break? Are there not rules that you're willing to break? Capricorn is very law structure oriented. So a lot of the times we can't cut corners and we have to do things within the traditions that already exist. However, this was also the quote unquote girl boss era where people, I mean, I'm in the feminine space, but there's also dudes who were making businesses. Also, that's the thing. Like, this was the era of like, go make your business and make it work, the era of entrepreneurs. And within that, we've seen so many people start side hustles or work full-time for themselves and like basically giving up on giving up on these traditions. So that's kind of been the back and forth. It's been a strange time, honestly, Pluto and Capricorn. It's like, well, I don't agree with any of these systems, so I'm gonna go make my own system. I'm not going to be involved with these other systems that I don't agree with. And it was this opportunity for a lot of us to figure out what sort of seat of power do we want, because that's a lot about Capricorn and Saturn. Like, what seat of power do we want? And also, what are we willing to do to receive that seat of power? When it comes to Pluto and Aquarius, what you've done during Pluto and Capricorn and the lessons you've learned is going to be really important to bring with you for a number of reasons. The first reason being that Aquarius is still ruled by Saturn. We think of Aquarius as like the rebel. They do things differently, but they're still connected very strongly to the systems. You can't rebel if there's not a system to rebel from. You can't do things differently if there's not already a tradition somewhere. So that's going to be one of the things, is knowing when to break the rules, knowing when not to break the rules, especially when it comes to our social spaces, because Aquarius rules over the 11th house, which has to do with our social circles, our social happenings. 11th house happenings have to do with, it could be the barista, okay? It could be a random cashier clerk at the store. Maybe you're the random cashier clerk at the store and you're checking a whole bunch of random people out every day. 11th house, okay? One-on-one sessions, 11th house. If you're in a group of people, maybe you're in a book club or something, 11th house, all right? Your job, 11th house. Even though it's your job and it's more 10th house, still 11th house. You're still talking to people, unless you're not talking to people, and that's a different kind of job. So just depends. Just depends, I suppose. But yeah, it's going to be 11th house related. So any sort of social happening. And those are going to be quite interesting. The change is going to be quite interesting. One of the things about Pluto is that sometimes it brings betrayal and manipulation. And so looking back at what you've learned during Pluto and Capricorn, really in this Scorpio season, take a long, hard look at how you gained the power that you have. How did you gain the power that you have? That seat of power that Pluto and Capricorn offer to you. Take a good, long, hard look and allow the truth, because Pluto values the truth. And sometimes it hides the truth, but there's still a value in it. So discernment on that. Look at really the truth of who you were and what you did to earn the seat of power that you have, because that's going to be your jumping off point for when Pluto enters Aquarius. People are going to see you in a certain light. They're going to see you in a certain way. And how you have earned that seat of power with Pluto and Capricorn is going to translate to how are you going to handle your exchanges with people once Pluto enters Aquarius. I'm not saying that it could be bad. I'm not saying that it could be good. I'm just saying that probably have some time for self-reflection and understand the power that you've really gained since 2008 when Pluto entered Capricorn. And don't leave room to debate either. Was I that kind of person or was I not that kind of person? Answer the question for yourself. Really sit with it, because if you leave room to debate, one of the things about Pluto, somebody is going to come and offer that power to you. Oh yeah, you did do that. Oh yeah, you were that kind of person. And that means that they have then taken authority away from you. So don't let other people answer those questions right now. Even if, you know what, listen, I love therapy, but even if it's like a therapy or a safe space with a best friend, or like you're sharing your secrets with other people, okay, just make sure that you are in those conversations, if they're offering those authorities to you in the sense of you were that kind of person or you were not that kind of person, make sure that you double check with yourself. Make sure that you double check after that conversation and go back and be like, do I actually agree with what they said? Thank you for that perspective. Do I actually agree with what they said? Is that something that I actually am going to sit with? Is that something I'm going to carry with me? And then figure out if you agree or not, because you might find out, actually, I don't agree with them. Or you might find out, actually, I think I do agree with them and this and this and this. Okay? So just take time to sit and reflect about who you were during that time period. Because once Pluto enters into Aquarius, we are already on the track. Pluto's already been in Aquarius. So we've had time to kind of start getting adjusted to the energy. It feels very different. It feels very different. Pluto and Capricorn, very dense, very, very, very constricted, very restricted, but there's more room for doing new stuff, being weird about it, okay, going out of our way to like find gold treasure and value in other spaces. Aquarius, Pluto and Aquarius is going to be very, very different. Also, another thing to think about too is, because like I said earlier, Pluto offers us the way that we're acquiring power. So instead of acquiring power through the systems, it's now about playing the social games within those systems. Sometimes the law and structure, I might have already said this, but I'm going to say it again. Sometimes the law and structure of a system is going to be more important than the social systems. Sometimes the social laws and the social standards are going to be more important than the laws and the structures of the hierarchical systems, okay? Knowing which one is more powerful and which one is more true and which one is more going to benefit you moving forward into Pluto and Aquarius, big discernment. Because another one of the things I was thinking about earlier with this transit changing is that more than likely Pluto and Aquarius, authority figures are going to be more undercover in this next era. Now, what place of authority, what placement of authority, what system is their authority in? No clue. No, I don't. Could be jobs. It could be governments. It could be, it could be money oriented. There's so many different systems of hierarchy that exist within our world, all right? But just know that there could be people who are more at like a top authority figure position who make active decisions to come down into quote unquote lower levels of those hierarchies so that they are able to, within those authority positions, also like spying stuff, okay? So there's that too. Not to make you paranoid, just to let you know, like Aquarius also rules over technology partially. And so having there be like undercover stuff, that's one way. Just imagine, maybe not imagine, understand that there could be somebody watching, even if you don't want there to be somebody watching. There could be someone watching, even if you don't want there to be somebody watching. So make sure that you, in making those decisions of what rules and structures are more important right now, having a really strong moral and ethical code is going to be important going into Pluto and Aquarius. And I said it twice now, I'm pretty sure, but I'm going to say it again. Understand for yourself, when is it more important to follow the rules and the structures of the systems, and when is it more important to follow the rules and the structures of the social spaces? Because there could be times where you are in the social rules and forget that there are hierarchical rules, and the hierarchy rules are going to come through and be like, you're all fools and now you're in trouble. But there could be times where you're in the hierarchical rules and you have disbanded the social rules. You're like, I don't care about these people. I don't care about these rules. I don't care. I'm not playing these games. Where then you become outcast. There's power in being an outcast, all right? But with that outcast energy, sometimes it's worth it and sometimes it's not. So discernment for yourself of when it is and when it is not. This is not an era of bending the rules. It's just an era of understanding that not every rule can be followed every single time. So discernment of what the rules you're going to be following are. Oh my goodness. Makes me a little nervous, dude. Navigating those spaces. Ugh. You're telling me I gotta break the rules? I don't know, man. I don't know. I like rules. I like structure. My chart is Saturn ruled and Scorpio ruled. I don't know that I want to break the rules. I like the rules. Let me keep the rules, you know, but we're not gonna be able to follow the rules all the time in the next one. Makes me a little nervous. I don't know that I like that very much. I don't know that I like that at all. It's gonna be, that makes me, that makes me a little nervous. I like, so serious. Like, that's so serious. That makes me so nervous. All right. Is there anything else that needs to be said about that before we move on? Take your time with it. Okay, Pluto likes to move slowly. It literally is the slowest moving planetary object that we have. So the rules don't need to be rushed. But the thing, this is like a common rule that I keep with Pluto. If anybody rushes me, if I'm learning about Pluto energy, automatically, you clearly want something from me. What do you want and why do you want it? And I'm not gonna let you have it. As a Scorpio, I'm not gonna let you have it. It's clear, you're rushing me for a reason. You obviously want something. Negatory, dude. Negatory. You don't get it now. You don't get it. Those are my social rules. That's pretty funny, actually. Realizations. So, that's just one of my rules of safety, rules of thumb with Pluto and Scorpio. Granted, eventually you do have to make a decision, okay? But if you're being truthful and honest with yourself and you're actually working on making a decision and there's something or someone that comes through to rush you, normally they want some kind of power from you. Sometimes it's beneficial to go into that. Sometimes it's not, though. And I found with Pluto in my chart pretty heavy that it usually, for me, it's not, but it can be dependent upon your placements and your decisions and how you move in life. So just discernment for yourself. I just wanted to share that little extra note about how I move with Pluto. That's one of my big key indicators. Oh, you want me to move faster than I want to move? Okay, well, you don't actually get to have any interaction with me anymore. Thanks though. We're done. Okay, moving on to, so we went through Mars in Cancer, the Moon in Cancer. There's a little bit about Scorpio season. Oh, that was more about Pluto and Capricorn, Pluto and Aquarius. Is there anything else we need to know about Scorpio season? This Scorpio season is really like the final endings. Have you been feeling like there's still some stuff that needs to be shaken up, broken up, done with, ended, so that you can move on and go into the new? This Scorpio season is going to give that to you. There's like these final restrictions, these final restraints. It reminds me too of like, you have to serve out the sentence. It's not that you did anything wrong. It's not that there is injustice. It's not about any of that. You just have to be stuck within the system and the place that you are in for as long as you need to be there, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can work hard. Love you, Capricorn. You can work hard. You can stay in the order, and that's great. But we're going to have to be in that energy of Pluto and Capricorn until the very end. So it's like bittersweet. Okay, so be in the consistency. We're going to have more time for rest when Pluto enters Aquarius. Thank goodness. I'm grateful for that. But that's the other thing about this as well. It's just like, you know, we have to serve the time. We have to be here till the very end, and that's just what it is. But time gets a little bit more shifty once we get to the end of Scorpio season. More updates on like day-to-day transits throughout Scorpio season. Once we enter Scorpio season, it is what it is. All right, so 24th through the 26th is the third quarter moon in Leo. Now, like I said, Leo's ruled by the sun. The sun's going to be in Scorpio. So technically, in the undercurrents of this, we have this third quarter moon ruled by Scorpio. Although it's going to be like the showy Scorpio. This is going to be, honestly, like arrogance. This is a very arrogant third quarter moon. It's very arrogant, very like flashy, showy. Look at the power that I have, which Pluto doesn't always do that. Pluto, the smart, discerned, integrated Pluto shuts up, does not say anything. It keeps its mouth shut. But this third quarter moon is very, oh, look at me, look what I can do. Look at all this power that I've obtained for myself. Look at this, look. So it could be a congratulations moon, okay? Don't move too soon. Don't move too soon. Don't tell too many people about it, okay? Because Scorpio and Pluto, again, like their secrets. So if you don't want your secrets to be on show, keep it hushed. Don't tell anybody. Keep it on lock, okay? Because this could be a third quarter moon where your secrets are revealed and you might not mean for them to be, especially with that sun energy. Scorpio season generally is going to be a season where the secrets are coming out. We're also practicing a lot of secret magic, not necessarily magic behind closed doors, but literal exchange of secrets. Yeah, that's true. Literal exchange of secrets, where like you're sharing secrets with another person and they're sharing secrets with you. Those secrets are binding contracts. Those secrets are binding contracts. So what are you receiving from them? What did you offer? Secret magic is really interesting to me because the sharing of secrets is like, now you're bonded. Now you've bound yourself to that person, but why did you do it? And why did they do it? And it's like this really intimate thing. I don't know, man. I really like secret magic. I'm a Scorpio, so it makes sense. But also, I really like secret magic. It's a very, very beautiful magic. It's a very powerful magic in its own right. And at the same time, it can alter us in the deepest ways without us even realizing it until years later sometimes. So just, if you don't want your secrets on display with the third quarter moon in Leo, keep it hush, stay at home, do what you need to do, and don't go out and roam. That's my advice to you. Or if you're out in the world and you have to be and you're like at work and things like that, keep it zipped as much as possible, because right now we also have a Mercury in Scorpio, so we want to share right now. Naturally, we want to share. We want to talk about, we want to yap about it. We want to yap. This is yap season. Sometimes yapping is a trap. I literally had a dream about that the other night. Sometimes yapping is a trap. So, determine for yourself. Don't yap yourself into a trap. Don't get into a trap and then yap. No yaps and traps. We don't want them. I don't want them, okay? I don't know about you, but not for me. Also, the third quarter moon helps us close in the direction of where we're going towards the end of the moon cycle, because in those dark moons, we do have to ground, we do have to sit in the darkness, and being able to reference back to the third quarter moon of where we wanted to go can help us go into that next cycle a little bit more stable and have a little bit more foresight and insight rather than just going blindly in that darkness of where am I going now? And so that third quarter moon, it's going to help to bring out the secrets of like, this is what I want. This is the power that I have. This is the power that I want. So really sit in, even though it's going to be flashy, showy, Scorpio, Pluto energy is not always like that. Okay. Mars is not always like that. Listen to it. Listen to yourself. Listen to the power of like, yes, I am powerful in this way. This is also a great third quarter moon for charging. People who charging magic, charging crystals. I don't necessarily charge crystals in my practice, but it could be if it's something that you do. Charging, it's just a great day for charging. To literally charge something with power, to imbue something with power. It could be the power of love, the power of truth, the power of you. Power, okay? Power. This is a great day. This is a great moon to charge something, to charge a work, to charge yourself. Affirmations too. Mercury's in Scorpio, so a day of affirmations or like a couple of days of affirmations, the 24th through the 26th, charge, to imbue beautiful with words or unheard, okay? All like the physical energy also. That's going to be great for this moon. That's true. And the other part of this that I think is really lucky, that I'm really excited about, is that we have a new moon in Scorpio on Halloween, and this third quarter moon being indirectly ruled by Scorpio. Okay, hello, thank you so much for that alignment, because now we have this huge direction of like, this is the power I have, this is the power that I want. I'm willing to confront that on this third quarter moon, and then the new moon on Halloween. Okay, well, now we get to start the new cycle. There could be some things because of the power orientation of this that come up and we're like, I can't believe that person did that. Or like, how dare they? That's a lot of this energy too. How dare they do that? How dare they were that person? Or how dare they be in my energy like that? How dare they take that from me? Or like, we just realize our power, good or bad. And depending upon what we've been through, there might be some emotions that come up. Mars in Cancer ruling Scorpio right now. Also, there could be some things that come up where we realize like, oh, I didn't want to go through that. I didn't agree to have this kind of power, but now I have it. So what the heck do I do with it? So just let there be illumination. Let there be, it could be good, could be good, could be bad. Might not feel the best, might not feel great, might feel really good though. So discern for yourself. That's one thing about Scorpio, is you never really know what direction it's going to go in, because it's literally the study of our decisions. It's literally the study of our will. So like, what have you willed and what have other people willed around you is going to be a really big part of that. And on a personal level, I don't know that. So discern for you how it works. And then we have, so that's Leo. 26th through the 28th, we have a moon in Virgo. Now, Virgo is also ruled by Mercury. Here's where I was talking about all the layers of Scorpio that are coming in this week. Curious, interesting. Not only is it going to be Scorpio season again for this moon, but we also have Mercury in Scorpio, which is ruling over that Virgo placement. So for this moon, 26th through the 28th, we're after the third quarter. It's going to be darker. Get into your body practices, making really good food, okay, eating out if you want to, sure, beautiful, love that. Working out, okay, any sort of like dance, okay, stretch, literally just sit and meditate with your body, if that's, or go on a walk. Sit and talk with your body, have a conversation with your body. How's your body feeling? Get really into it and make some space and time for that over this 26th to the 28th moon in Virgo. Because if there's any other unspoken secrets, like the third quarter moon is this really bright, sort of arrogant, like up in your face Scorpio secret energy. But that moon in Virgo is going to be very much internal, maybe maternal, paternal sort of energy, where we come back into our body. We're less like showing off. We're not showing off anymore, really. We're more in our body, and we're more revealing the secrets. Like, sometimes you don't get to know the secret until you spend the entire amount of time with a person, and then the secret comes out at the end. That's really what this moon is going to be for us, is like spending time with ourselves, spending energy with ourselves, going all the way through emotional interactions. Like, if you find yourself emotionally working through something, especially body oriented somehow, if you find yourself emotionally working through something, let yourself get all the way through it. Okay, 6th house Scorpio and Virgo Scorpio connection, very, very, you have to stay until the end, and that's where the gold is. That's where the value is. That's where the riches are, is at the very end. So if you are able to stay until the very, very end, there's gonna be probably some really big secrets revealed. This is also too, if you're sharing food with anyone, sit for the entire conversation, or like, you know how sometimes you have dinner with people and then you sit and talk for a while afterwards. This is a great opportunity to have secrets revealed about other people and also yourself through those sorts of conversations. So that is a part of this. It could be like if you take workout classes and you are in spaces with other people while you're doing body practices. If you're staying until the very end of those spaces, there could be people who reveal secrets to you, or you're revealing secrets, like, you know, the power exchanges of words sort of things. One thing about Virgo, Scorpio, Mercury connection that I've realized through the years is that it's not always spoken, but if you can make a Virgo 6th house Scorpio connection placement feel really safe, Mercury Scorpio, yeah, feel really safe physically, normally what needs to be spoken will be. So if you're able to feel safe in your body and there's safety in the other person, that safeness is the start. That it's like trust. Trust is what activates that exchange then with that moon in Virgo. The trust of the body and the trust of other people around you in the physical. It might not be the trust of the head where we're like, oh, I trust this person, because you in your head might say, I trust this person, but your body might not actually feel safe around them. So if you're feeling safe, that is where that trust is activated. There may be some exchanges that happen during that moon. curious. So that's, just keep your eyes out for that, all right? Then we have the 29th through the 31st is going to be a moon in Libra. Quite curious, I think, with this one, because we had our new moon in Libra. We're coming off of eclipse season. We're coming off of the eclipse cycle, which is like, dude, that eclipse, I don't know about you, but I know about me, was so intense. That was such an intense eclipse. It was kind of brutal, to be honest with you. It was a lot. That was a big eclipse. So probably a lot of big feelings, probably a lot of big revealings, okay? The balsamic moon is the accumulation of every single other moon that we've had in the moon cycle, new moon included. It's where the moon cycle comes to ground. So we're grounding these informations in our body, we're grounding these understandings in our body, and on the earth, like here physically on the earth. A lot of the times, the balsamic moon is when I will be nesting. I'll be nesting during balsamic moon periods and like moving things around and letting things ground, and like it's the final sort of like rearrangement before we start something new. So if you have any too, because Libra is also about our intimate relationships and our intimate mirrors. So if you're having any intimate reflections where it's like, oh, I understand now. I didn't at the beginning of this moon cycle, but I understand now why I feel like this, or I understand now why this needs to be rearranged, or I understand now. I just understand. I understand this reciprocation. I understand why there wasn't reciprocation. I understand why I feel like I need reciprocation and there isn't any reciprocation. I feel like those sorts of spaces are going to start to become a lot clearer, especially if you're someone who has a physical person as a mirror. You have a partner, you have a person. That there's going to be a lot of clarity in those relationships. If you've had any trouble in those relationships over the previous month or previous couple of months, it's going to be very clear about, this is what I want. This is what I want. And also too, in a large scale, bigger picture, and this is not just related if you have a partner, but for everybody, if you are looking at what happens on this balsamic moon, the 29th through the 31st of October in Libra, if you're looking at that, we have some interesting things happen next eclipse season with the dark moon. Dark moon was a part of this eclipse. It's still in Libra currently, and moving into the eclipse season that we have coming up in March of 2025, the dark moon in the middle of those eclipses will be moving into Scorpio. So the power that we're asking for in this season, whether we realize it or not, is going to be surfaced come next eclipse season. And what do I mean by surfaced? A lot of the times with the dark moon, with Pluto, with Scorpio, we don't always have the entire awareness or the entire articulation of what it is that we're really looking for. We don't always know the full picture until the story is over. Have you ever been like in the middle of an experience, but you don't have the full like retrospect of it until afterwards? And then after it's over, you can look back and be like, oh, it's like looking at it from a different perspective. You're a different person now. So you can look back and be like, oh, I get it now. I understand myself. I understand that situation, that person, why it happened like that. I understand why I made that decision. I understand why they made that decision. I understand. So there isn't going to be like a full big retrospective understanding until we get to the next eclipse season about what's happening during this eclipse season. However, this balsamic moon is going to be something that allows us to really ground what we need to, and it'll be our first sort of offering of the understanding of what power exchanges are we looking for, what power do we want within ourselves. And one of the things I recommended for that new moon eclipse in Libra is to write out a contract with yourself and like, this is what I want, this is where I'm going, this is the power that I'm asking for. So if you did that, or you had some sort of journal session or some sort of conversation with yourself around that time, during this balsamic moon, go back and revisit yourself, and really like reorient what have you learned so far, because come next eclipse season, when the dark moon moves into Scorpio, there's going to be another wave of, we've come so far. I understand now. We've come so far. I've come so far. This is where we are. This is where we are. And here is the power that I have obtained. One thing about power that I have learned is that you have to kind of keep your eye on it, otherwise it will shapeshift and it will turn into something kind of unexpected. So from now until our next eclipse season, do just, momentary check-ins with yourself every once in a while. How do you feel about this that we've written down for ourselves? How do you feel about what we have created? How do you feel about this direction of power? How do you feel about this balance of power? This also helps too if you study your own Pluto placement. It can help to integrate that specifics or those specifics. So just making sure that you're, taking the time and the space if you feel like that's necessary to do that. One of the things, this is like the final note that I wrote down for the blog, which is one thing I forgot to mention at the beginning, actually. If you want the notes and the dates of the transits, they're going to be in the blog for the episode. So that'll be linked down below too. My final note for the notes on the blog for this is that if there was a space under the underworld, this moon cycle brought us into it, and our next new moon that's in Scorpio on November 1st and October 31st is going to bring us into the underworld for the exchanges that we're looking for. So we got brought into like this shadowed realm in this moon cycle. We got brought into this shadowed space, this shadowed realm, and we're kind of grounding it. It was connected to the underworld because Venus was in Scorpio, that's true. It was also very justice-oriented because Libra is justice. It's like the study of justice as one of the studies of Libra, balancing the scales, and part of that is justice. So within that, it's like going to the underworld to receive the justice that we really need, the perspectives, the retrospectives that we needed, while at the same time, it's very shadowed. It's very, very shadowed. It's like the deepest, darkest parts of those shadows. And when we come into our next moon, it's gonna be kind of weird because Scorpio, normally we think about that as like the deepest, darkest points. But because of the dark moon being involved with this previous eclipse season, this previous moon cycle is actually deeper and darker than we're going to be receiving maybe in our Scorpio new moon that happens on Halloween. So that is what to look out for this week. Yeah, that's true. That's crazy. It's like I said, there's not a lot going on when it comes to like our day-to-day sort of transits. So hopefully the big picture stuff, especially since we're coming off of the eclipse season, may there be presence of those big picture things that makes it easier to navigate on the small scale and on the big scale. That is true. Keep doing what you need to do. Keep up your brew. Gratitude, reverence, and love to you. That's also true. And I will talk to you soon. Also, happy early Halloween. That's true. You know what? That's true. But I'll talk to you soon. We'll talk about the new moon in Scorpio on Halloween in our next episode. And I'm pretty excited for that. So anyways, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.